Welcome to What's Wrong With. Today we're here to discuss what's wrong with a lot of black leaders and more importantly, what we can do about them. From the latest data I could find, blacks were 2.5 times more likely than whites to be in poverty. We make 82.5 cents on the dollar compared to whites. That's basically how gentrification works. They make more money so they can price us out of our own neighborhoods. The median white family is 10 times more wealthy than the median black family. And as far as home ownership and incarceration rates go, our situation hasn't improved in 50 years. Now we got to ask ourselves, why haven't things gotten any better in 50 plus years of protesting? One of the reasons is ineffective black leadership. It isn't to downplay the role of racism or white supremacy, but in order to fight something, you need an effective strategy, one that's at least equal to the thing you're fighting. In general, preaching, marching, and waiting on the beneficence of white people is not really helping us out. Weak, ineffective black leadership is one of the problems. The solution is simple, but the steps are hard. Change the leaders. We need to demand strong, effective leaders and reject ineffective ones. Leadership is a skill, and skills demand training, knowledge, wisdom, and understanding. Look at where we get our knowledge from. Let's take a look at where we get our knowledge from. For instance, you have this young sister here from North Carolina. Her name is, excuse me if I don't say it right, but her name is Makia Corbett. This sister has a PhD in microbiology and immunology. For years, she's worked at the National Institute of Health, which is the NIH. And for the last 6 years, she's been involved in research on novel vaccines for different coronaviruses. 6 years she's been doing this. We just now started hearing about them, but she's been doing it for 6 years. But do we get information from somebody who actually studies in a laboratory and works in a research center? No. We go to the ill-informed, the Facebook scholar, and they get their information from dubious sources. I mean, even if we was to debate the sister, we could engage in conversation with people of knowledge, those who are actually educated. Timbuktu was built on that foundation where the scholars would be there for debate. You could go and debate them. People would not turn their backs on the scholars. They would actually talk to them. Now, I'm not saying you have to believe everything she or other experts say, but when my kid gets sick, I'm taking her to the hospital. I'm not contacting my Facebook friends for information and help. Now, I'm not saying you can't be self-taught. Here's the brother Edward C. Lawson. He's a prime example. We could teach ourselves. The San Diego police detained him like 15 times. He was arrested 7 times under the California Penal Code 647E. He represented himself. It's called pro se. He took the case to the U.S. District Court, and eventually he took it to the Supreme Court in Washington, D.C. and won. As a result, the law was voided. In other words, he actually produced results. He got a law erased from the books. Legitimate research is valuable. I emphasize the word legitimate. Reading a bunch of Facebook posts that might agree with you does not qualify as legitimate research. When you or your loved one's life is on the line, who do you really trust? Now, I can't speak for all black people, but many of us have friends and family members that have been through the criminal justice system, hooked on drugs, or both. Like I said before, we're more likely to be in poverty. We're more likely not to own a house. We're more likely to be in jail. And if you're a black male, you're more likely to get murdered than white people. Why? We're not born weak. So what's the cause of these problems? For sure, we can blame white supremacy and racism. But there's another cause. It's whom we choose to follow. Remember, leadership starts at the top. The first time most people use drugs, they're usually following somebody they looked up to and respected. The first time a lot of our youth did something morally wrong, broke the law, they were usually following the example of some dude in the hood they looked up to. Being honest, I have to say, I fell into that trap growing up in the 70s and 80s. This is who's giving many of our youth advice. This is the dude that's going to get a lot of our daughters pregnant. He's going to be a lot of babies' daddies. And this is who shares the blame. They say it takes a village to raise a child, and these are our village leaders. So what's the solution? Like I said before, it's simple. Step one, demand results, especially when it comes to elected officials. They're civil servants. They serve at our pleasure. If they don't serve us right, they should be fired. They should not get reelected if they don't do something that benefits us. They should only get reelected if they get something done that benefits us. Now, I know no politician is going to win every battle, and he's not going to get everything he wants, but we want someone who's at least going to put up the good fight. We can take losses from you if at least you fight back. Now, if you're pretending to take losses, but your life is getting better, your house is getting bigger, your car is getting flyer, it's an indication you might be fighting for something different than what you preach. This especially goes for religious leaders. 2, we got to ask questions. What exactly are you doing that benefits us? Ask them, are you looking into issues that affect us? Right now, your black elected officials is letting us run around yelling 5G this and 5G that. Meanwhile, they're ignoring the known cause of the death of most black men under the age of 44, homicide. Leaders who fight homicide and can maybe do something about homicide for black men can do the community a great service. They can save black lives, actually save black men's lives. A subdivision of number 2 is the question, who are you getting your advice from? Great leaders have great advisors. Again, I go back to Timbuktu, one of the original places of higher learning. We should respect scholars. People would debate and discuss things with each other. The scholars would come together. And 3, we have to be leery of leaders who ask for donations of organizations that are not transparent. Yes, organizations need money, but if you are truly in service of the people need to see where that money is going. Be leery of those who charge you for knowledge that they got on Facebook for free. A stronger, more unified black community can be developed by building stronger leaders, which can be accomplished by truly holding them accountable. When we hold fraudsters' feet to the fire, they will step aside and let the truly righteous rise. They'll make room for those that actually benefit us, the ones that actually improve our lives and not just engage in fly talk. I'm not going to endorse any particular group, but many of us have seen organizations that have actually changed people's lives for the better. That's what you want, right? The improvement of the black community. So in conclusion, we need to remember who and what our actual enemies are in order to fight them effectively. This includes, but is not limited to, any and all things that threaten black lives and black livelihood. So remember, hold all our own to account. How, you may ask? Simple steps, but hard actions. For example, when it comes to elected officials, you need to call, text, message on Facebook, Twitter, or Instagram them right now and specifically ask them what they're going to do to combat black poverty and the homicide rate of black males. Just those 2 things alone can change the lives of many black people more than anything else. Find out whose side that these elected officials are actually on, because these issues affect us more than anything else. See where the people you listen to stand. See if their words actually benefit the people, or if they're just engaged in fly talk, fly preacher talk. That fly preacher talk gets you all worked up, feeling some type of way, but doesn't change your life. So now that you know what you got to do, it's up to you. It's up to you to stand up for your people.